So last night I found out what the last episode of Tom and Jerry was.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
ever?
I was hesitant to Google this because I didn't want it ruined for me, but I guess here we go.
It's depressing.
Why, what happened with Tom and Jerry?
It's like
What?
it ends on a short of it's regular Tom and Jerry show, but like Tom falls in love with someone, or like a white cat, and then they're a gold digger, so they go for someone else, and then it starts with Tom sat on the train track, and then ends with Tom and Jerry sat on a train track as a train appears and it fades out.
So that was like the original Tom and Jerry ending.
That's how it
Jesus,
ends.
that's beautiful.
It's not. That's
That's
depressing.
No, that's brilliant.
What does that
no way,
prepare
no other way,
1958
no other way that could have
kids
ended.
for?
That's beautiful. That's brilliant.
That was BoJack Horseman before BoJack
Honestly,
Horseman.
like, what the fuck?
The only other alternative is it would have been a Poochie situation, like Tom's just I have to go back to my home planet now, and just fades off. Like
I'm
that's
tired
glorious.
of this planet. These people just ascends to Mars. I thought you were gonna say like he finally got with the white cat,
Yeah.
and then they like adopted Jerry
No,
or
it's
something.
it's very 1950s, so it's like obviously trying to be manly man, and then the man doesn't win all the time, haha. But it's
Did
like,
you guys know that nice
depressing.
guys finish last?
That's why I'll treat you like trash.
I was never a big Tom and Jerry guy. I never really cared for them.
No?
I love.
I was always more
Hanna-Barbera.
like I was always more Pinky in the Brain. Like I adore Hanna-Barbera, but like Tom and Jerry never did very much for me.
I don't know.
Like,
I was just always was like a Hanna-Barbera kid. Like I watched all the Looney Tunes stuff. I watched was the Seth MacFarlane thing, Johnny
Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. Yeah, I had Johnny Test in my head.
Oh,
and
is
that's
that
a
Seth
very different show.
MacFarlane?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Seth MacFarlane. Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of his first big breaks.
It feels very Seth MacFarlane when you look back at it.
Yeah. Did he
Oh,
write it and stuff as well, or did he just
Yeah.
voice it?
I think
Oh, wow.
Same, yeah. It's just the creator
I'd
tag.
be scared to go back to that now. Like
Yeah, no, I dread to think of any
It's like-
kind of subtext in that show. I don't think it will have aged too well at all.
it's like I did
Hey,
some
mama.
I did some Dexter's Laboratory the other week, and parts of that had aged like milk, and parts of it were a fine wine, and I was like, no, I can't do any more of this. Just let it remain pristine in my mind. But
I've been going through a few episodes of Phineas and Ferb here and there, and that's still top tier.
Top tier.
It's still top
I think
tier.
he knew
That's-
how to make timeless TV. He did know how to make like timeless TV because he wrote the campfire song in SpongeBob.
I've never actually seen Phineas and Ferb. I was like I didn't have like Disney Channel or anything to watch it on, so it just completely.
But
sailed
you're
me
the
by.
kid. You're the guy who still watches cartoons.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
how
just
have
ne-
you
I-
never
Is that what you
watched
class
it?
anime as? Just the cartoons?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I got
It
enough
was-
people like against me now. I might as well take this
It
on
was-
as well.
I'd never felt as though Michelle had summed me up more than I think it was like, oh, we were at uni or something. It was like we were having lunch, and I recommended Michelle Infinity Train because I thought, oh, Michelle will like this. And then you look it up and you just go, oh, it's another one of those kids shows. Just thought,
No.
yeah, this is what Michelle thinks of me. Just, oh, can't win.
It's like Dad and I go through like Love, Death and Robots together. And just because it's animation, whenever Mum walks through, she just thinks that it's for kids. And it was the bad travelling David Fincher episode.
Oh,
And
dear.
she was just like, why is it? But this is for kids. What's going on? And we're like, no, maybe not quite for the young'uns, this one.
Yeah, just we need to sit her in front of something like Primal and just watch as any assumption she's ever had about animation is just torn to pieces.
It's like I know that there's a lot of good kids TV that like is genuinely really good now. Like there's Steven Universe, which I know is incredible, but I've just
Yeah.
never sat down and watched because it's a children's show, and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad kids have that, but I'm gonna go and watch How I Met Your Mother for the 40th time.
I could write you a list, Michelle, and you'd get so much more out of like two of them than you ever did How I Met Your Mother.
Dude, like,
Have you seen How I Met Your Father yet?
Yeah, I did.
Is it good? Okay.
I think that says everything, really. I think that says everything, doesn't it?
Does it still have like the narration thing of like
Yes,
her talking to her?
it
presumably
does have
kids?
that, yeah, but it's not. It feels like they went and did How I Met Your Mother without the flashbacks, trying to squeeze in as many cameos as they could, whilst also trying to make it a different show, while following the same structure as the first season.
No, not a fan.
It's like, it feels like it's so clearly this show, and then you're watching it and you're like, why does this feel weird? Why is this different? Like, it doesn't... I've still got to carry on watching it because I'll live for that sort of universe for the rest of my life now. But
Do you
it's
do you
just
think
The
like
How I Met Your Mother
depressing.
cinematic universe.
It's just like depressingly, like, it should be so much better than it is.
because doesn't Robin turn up at one point?
Right at the end.
Shit. Does anyone else like? Do we get anyone else in it? Or
Yeah, the captain.
like- Oh, that's quite fun. I like the captain. I'd
He's
watch
divorcing
that.
boats.
What? Oh no, garbage.
No.
0 out of 10.
No.
Won't watch it. That's
She's trying to
ridiculous.
steal the money from...
No, that's
captain, so...
no. That is a heel
That
turn. I'm not there for. That is a bad arc.
That marriage taught me what love is. God damn.
Yeah, that's like that was the perfect couple. That was the love that made us believe in love. Like,
Did it really?
yes, there is someone out there for everyone. Eventually, you will find that human being who just is what you enjoy, and nothing else. Oh, that's
I just need Bryan Cranston there for a cameo in the background where he's just like sat on the curb, he's just doing that, and then you just hear him go, he did become an architect. Oh my god. Because I love that episode where he's like, you'll never become an architect. That is Bryan Cranston, isn't it?
Yep.
no, that's
Yeah.
Ted's architecture professor.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah,
Bryan
they-
Cranston is Hammond Druthers, and
He
then
did.
the architecture
That's
professor is someone else.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I think they both said
I
it.
need to rewatch it.
Because it's the
Yeah.
same as when he was trying to pitch the penis building.
Yeah.
And he's like, he thinks he's a genius, and then anything he goes, like,
Yeah.
you'll never be an architect with these sort of drawings.
It's like he says to Ted, like, my son plays with Legos. Does that make him an architect? Unless if he somehow passed all of his licensing exams. No,
Yeah.
why are we reminiscing about that? You're making me want to watch it again, and that's bad.
It's a good show.
What have you done to
It's
me?
a
What have you done
good
to me?
show.
If I
Look.
didn't do film, I would have done architecture. That was because as a kid I was always like, I know I want to do filmmaking, but even as like a child I was like, I know that's not realistic. So I was like, I'll just be an architect. It's like,
just-
yeah, no, fuck it, let's do film.
It's like the most impressive job.
Yeah, I nearly applied for the interiors course at the uni we went to, which
Wow.
was like, it was just a last minute thing. I'd applied for media courses everywhere around the country, and I was like, they do interior design here. That could be fun. Spoiler alert, knowing people who went on that course, it was the worst course they could have picked.
Oh wow.
So, I'm pretty glad that I didn't do it.
I liked what they did in first year though. Was it for interdisciplinary where they were like given the task to do like a small room or like a lamp or something based on a
Did the
film?
lamp, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool because they had like some really interesting ones there, like a lamp based on like Pulp Fiction, and then
I just
like,
remember
West Side Story and
my
stuff.
flatmates losing their mind over it because they were giving it way too late and couldn't spend enough time on it.
Oh.
You say that like that also didn't happen on our course.
We built a whole set in
No, I'm
3
not being-
days. I'm got
being
funny.
funny, yeah.
We did a lot.
Yeah,
we did
like,
well.
we blew everyone else out of the water
Yeah.
with what we achieved there. Like, I'm shallow enough to be like, I don't remember anything anyone else made, but what we did.
We did
Oh, what, that
sick.
specific
Yeah, that
showcase?
specific
Oh.
one. Like, I can remember there was a bit of glass somewhere in the room, but I couldn't tell you what subject it was for. Like,
Glass blowing. if you believe.
maybe. I guess we'll never know.
Anyway, welcome to Urgent Rewrite.
Oh, I love
I
just
still get-
watching this just descend into a black hole sometimes.
Yeah.
I still get PTSD from that music from that day. Because
Oh
it
my
was like,
god.
what, that minute and a half loop.
Oh god, that's. I miss it so much. Weirdly.
Why? No.
Like I don't know why. It was like just a weird sort of like.
That's PTSD. That's what
Oh
that is.
yeah, it's a weird Stockholm for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Because, you know, like, do you guys do it as well? Where, like, probably about once every 6 months or so, you, like, rewatch all your old films and kind of, like, reminisce and kind of see.
Not
like,
anymore.
what you could do.
No.
Not anymore.
No.
Can't
Do you
do
want to
that.
know why I don't do that anymore? It's because I
Why?
watched through all of my monthly vlogs way too many times to the point where I think those are the best years of my life, and they're not.
Oh, so you've kind of like romanticized it a bit.
Yeah, it's the problem is you romanticize
yeah.
so much of a stressful situation, which is like half of what we did on the film course.
Yeah. I just watch mine and start to tell myself, no, you need to take this down and make it so no one can watch it. Like, this is bad. That's all I do. Like, so I avoid that opportunity whenever I can.
Well, I think we all will romanticize the creation aspect of it and being like, oh, this is collaborative and fun, and I'm glad we did all that stuff. But I also then have to take a step back and go, I'm watching this, I'm enjoying the fact that I can remember all of the fun times I had behind the camera. I also have to remember that I spent 6 months crying. So I need
And
to.
that
There are
didn't
two
make the
sides to the
cut
coin.
for the.
Funnily enough, I
Yeah.
didn't film that for the documentary bit at the end.
I can remember one of my favorite moments of the entirety of uni was you and me and Michelle pushing a trolley up a hill on the hoe just to try and get a sunset whilst we still possibly could.
And it didn't look
Me-
good.
And it looked awful. Me screaming power whilst pushing a trolley. Everyone else around just like, I've had enough of Zach today. And just
I wanted to
got
die.
half
That
of a
was
bad sunset.
so
It was just
heavy.
uh,
And then we had to walk all the way to Lydia's as well. That was a.
oh no, that was hell. And then it was like the fucking cobbles and getting it all over that. And
I'm kind of glad
Why-
that we picked up Aiden during that, just so that he could
Uh.
help pushing it, because it was the heaviest trolley, because we just downloaded
yeah.
everything we thought we might need, and we used like almost none of it.
and then it was
Was
like
this
YC was
for
like
the-
crippled as well.
Mind
See,
barely
shine
walk.
thing.
Yeah, mind chain.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
love
cool,
the
Swim
fact
did.
that no one watching this conversation will have any clue about what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the point. What we're talking
Yeah.
about is nostalgia, and so we can lean that into Stranger Things quite easily. But we still need to talk about
Jesus
nostalgia bit.
Christ, that's just...
You see, you're going in through that angle. I was going to do a bad segue about animation to the boys because I was going to go to Boys Diabolical and then go through that way. So
I
We're both on
genuinely
the
mean
segue.
it.
we can go down nostalgia. That's fine.
We're
I'm
on two
gonna get a
different segues.
jar, and every time you guys do this, I'm gonna put a fucking coin in there. Like, honestly, it's just...
That was the worst segue I think we've both done. Though.
Yeah.
We can't say that we did a good one.
Well, no, because with the Boys Diabolical, I've only seen the first episode, but that's like a Tom and Jerry style cartoon.
Yeah, but we talked
Right.
about Tom and Jerry like an hour ago, Jake. Like,
I'm feeling nostalgic for the Tom and Jerry conversation. That's then
yeah,
why
that makes sense.
I had to bring
yeah.
it full circle, you know.
What did you
feel
think of Stranger Things then?
Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I saw your video essay on it, and I think
Yeah.
you got some
Very
very,
good.
very good points to make.
I cackled with your Nestle Crunch joke. That actually like made me cackle with laughter. Like that was just, it's just that unlocked a piece of my brain at the same time, and it was just no stop. That's well done.
Yeah, no, that was a stressful day. Getting up to watch it like as soon as it dropped, and then doing the whole.
I can imagine your fucking our Be Reals went off at like fucking what I think 9 a.m. that day. I'd woken up and I just saw you watching fucking Stranger Things, and I'm like, dude, it's a Friday. Everyone's trying to sleep. How are you up?
Did
How are
you
you
manage
always
to?
through that first episode?
Did you manage to see any of like the non-finalized shots or anything if you were watching it that early? Like any
What
of the stuff?
non-finalized shots? I haven't heard
Like-
anything about that.
The Duffer Brothers, like, they only finished the CG the morning it went live.
Oh yeah.
So you potentially were watching like some unfinalized footage of, and then they updated it on the Netflix server like the
Is
morning
that
it
why
went
it-
live.
Is that why it went down and then back up?
Probably.
I think it went down because that many people at once were trying to watch it, but
Oh.
that was like a thing they said, like, oh, you're potentially seeing like the version of this that wasn't meant to go out because, and I mean those poor VFX artists like,
Yeah.
rushing
Oh,
that,
God.
but I was wondering if you'd spotted anything and you thought that doesn't look right.
What's really
I
insane
mean-
to me about that is like it's taken them 3 years to get this season done,
Yeah,
and like the fact it took right up to the last minute on the VFX. I mean, it looks incredible, but
Fucking
like
phenomenal.
it took so long to get to that point. It
I
surely
mean, they
was
are
time.
also literally doing 9 feature films.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't think there's one episode that's not feature length, and obviously the final one being 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's
It's 2.5 hours.
final episode's 2.5 hours long.
Oh, fuck off. There's no need way it needs to be that long. I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, there's no way in hell it needs to be that long.
Kinda did.
Yeah,
No.
That's the thing.
I
There's
think
no
if you,
reality you can convince me that it needed to be that long.
if you really wanted to like go through it with a fine tooth comb, like, and be like a proper like spoil, you could like cut a few bits out. But if you want to like tell the narrative and still have like the satisfying setups and payoffs in the thing, then I would argue that it kind of, because I was the exact same when I had 2.5 hours. Nah, fuck off. But I think it is
flies
actually.
by. It does kind of fly
Yeah.
by. But like, I will like nitpick and say like there are bits that could have been cut down. I think the same way as in Endgame, where I'm like, yeah, this didn't need to be 3 hours, but I'm kind of glad that it was for the spectacle of it. This is 2.5 hours of very good TV. I guess it's a movie, but it's good TV because it requires everything else to watch beforehand. But it definitely could have been cut and stripped down a little bit. I think there's a lot of areas where it's just like suspense. I think there's like 20 minutes of suspense for a little bit.
Yeah, like there's that bit where like they all kind of get caught up, and then it keeps cutting back to them being caught up for about, I think, 30 minutes, and it's like we're not gonna
We're
do
gonna move on.
anything
We're gonna
else
carry
here.
on
We're not
going.
gonna.
Where are we going? He's running after a demo dog, I guess. He's been doing that for about an hour now.
I think it's one hell of an achievement in terms of just filmmaking and craft. Like doing something on that scale in COVID.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
I think what it did is really justify why it needed to exist, which is like the biggest thing that I think Stranger Things needed to do. Because like I feel like the third season has such a nice ending to it. It's a final bit. We don't have to think about Stranger Things anymore. And then season 4 comes around, and it just instantly brings you back. You're like, oh yeah, no, okay, I see why this is happening. That's fair enough.
And it's like, I understand, yeah, they could have cut it down in a whole load of different areas, but I just love spending time in the world of this show, where like just seeing the characters like have some fun with that, actually like getting you invested back in the characters as opposed to just waiting for the supernatural threat to come in. Yeah, I just thought it was.
Yeah.
I think it's just a really special show as is. They've got such an incredible cast that they've put together, and just seeing them interact is just like I could just watch it for hours and hours.
100%. We should probably talk spoilers a little bit now that we've sort of pitched why we think it's still good.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's fair enough. If you don't care that much, Zach, then it's fine.
I'll watch this in like 6 months and will have probably forgotten.
Yeah.
So Zach, with the bits that have been spoilt for you, what do you think the story is?
I have like I know there's like a house, and like one of the kids in the lab is now the big bad, and he's very hot. He was great in Twilight. I'm very glad he's now working again. Like, I know
He was better in Mortal Instruments.
Yeah, whatever that is. Oh god, no, that thing. Oh no, that thing. Oh, that was that awful show, wasn't it? Oh god, Robert Sheehan was in that, wasn't he? Oh fucking hell, poor sod. I know. I literally just went on Twitter in the morning, and it was like, oh, spoiler: Eddie and Max gone. Like, I didn't even know the context. I was just scrolling, hadn't gone looking. Just, oh, okay, that's there. Like,
You didn't know who Eddie was, so
I know he was like the grunge guy with the guitar.
yeah, fair.
And I saw a lot of people like going like, oh, I'm really shocked he's upset. I'm really shocked he's dead. But it's like they do that every series. They get a nice new character and then they kill them off immediately.
Yeah. So, well, like the thing is with Eddie, it did kind of take me off guard because like it didn't feel like his arc felt it was whole. It just sort of was like, oh, he's scared, and I was like, I'm not scared now. It was like, okay, fair enough. He was protecting the kid. That's nice. But I really, really expected it to be Steve that died and Eddie carried on the Steve role.
There were so many hints that it was going to be Steve.
So many. It was a good bait and switch because I feel like that's what everyone was convinced it was going to happen. Even fucking Noah Schnapp said that it was going to happen.
Did he?
It was like, well, dude.
Because like even on the poster and everything, everyone was going like full tinfoil hat, because on the front of their bikes, all of them had lights except for Harrington. So everyone was like, okay, his light's gonna go out. He's gonna die. But no.
How was because that's one thing that will definitely get me to watch it eventually. Is how was Robert Englund in it? Like,
He was really good. He was only in it
Was
for
he?
one episode,
oh come on,
but it was kind of watching it going, oh shit, that's from England.
it's Freddy. No.
But yeah, no, he's really good in it because he's kind of like doing a lot of exposition and stuff, kind of like establishing
Good.
a bit of a flashback.
Good.
But yeah, no, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because he has like these prosthetics on his eyes where it's like he stabbed them out. And it's kind of like they're weeping and they're a
Oh,
bit pussy,
perfect.
and it's
Oh,
yeah. Because
no,
this
beautiful.
series goes right back into horror, where it's
That's pretty
yeah,
good.
it is trying to be scary again, which is good.
It
Yeah,
definitely
just-
felt more scary this time because it was. The issue is that like last season felt like we'd figured out the threat wasn't a threat. We were just trying to steal the gate, and then this season's like, oh no, there's actually like something that we can't figure out or do anything about. I think it's the problem that season 2 had, where it was like, oh, so the Demogorgon was the big bad, but now they can just kill 4 of them in an episode. Okay.
Yeah, like I know I said it in my video essay, but I loved that they made the original Demogorgon like an actual threat again. Where they were like building it up this whole series, you knew what was in there, and then as soon as it comes out in that bit, it just fucking tears everyone apart.
Yeah. Like, I can't speak to Vecna as a villain because I haven't really seen it, but I personally think of the monsters they've had, they've never designed a better one than the Demogorgon. Like, that's like
Oh,
ingrained
100%.
into sort of like the zeitgeist now as like
fully
its
believe that.
own like mythos, like perfect design and creature.
Although it's weird because around the same time, a whole load of creatures like looked extremely similar. Like it looked like the ones from A Quiet Place as well,
Oh yeah.
and a whole load of other ones. But yeah, no, I like that they've still just fully embraced that. But it was weird because I didn't realize I've only just been going. You know, they did that. Every like network went through that weird phase of doing like a Talking Dead type TV show where it was like they then like discuss everything afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm only going through slowly Beyond Stranger Things with like Jim Rash in it from Community and everything. And in it, the Duffer Brothers said that they shot pretty much all of the Demogorgon stuff in the first series practically. They had a guy in a suit
Oh.
because they only had like one VFX guy, but it was then because they had a whole load of complications with it. They then like had to CG over it for a lot of it. But you know, they said that was the reason why the design was like that, is so that they could get this guy in the suit for it. But I had no clue. I just presumed it was all CG.
Yeah.
I mean, like
on him.
Vecna looks incredible,
He does.
the makeup
he
on that.
does
Yeah.
look very good.
and I
I
love
think-
that it's CG enhanced as opposed to just like complete CG.
It's
Yeah.
what's I think is sort of good about the first season and this season is that like you do feel like they're a threat because they are present. Like they feel like they are looking at something. With the Demodogs, it doesn't feel like they're just sort of grabbing at the air or something. And then like now the Demogorgon feels like an actual threat because they tried to make it a threat in the Russian prison. Then they did it with like actually Vecna being a whole, like it just takes over your mind. The Mind Flayer didn't feel like a threat is the issue.
Yeah.
Like the Mind Flayer just sort of happened to Will and that was about it. This like actually feels like a threat because we have something to assign that to. I think the fact that it's so present in each scene is so. I don't know. I loved it. I actually just think it's just so. It did the horror aspect made it feel scary throughout all of it. Like the cliffhanger that we had for the split between the two, just so good, so good. Because it just you genuinely were on edge the whole time.
How do you feel about them kind of like just slotting Vecna and being like, he was there the whole time?
I'm happy with it because it feels like they've justified why it needed to be this long, whereas it could have easily been those 3 seasons and we wouldn't have to think about it again. So now it feels like there's a reason that this has all happened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and it's the biggest complaint I think people will have with this season, most of it was exposition.
Shame.
There is a good part of that final half, the final two episodes, where they are just going, oh yeah, so this happened because of this, and he's there because of this, and this has happened because of this, and this is why the Mind Flayer exists because of this. And it's like, okay, cool, and you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel like we're slowing down, but you're justifying why this exists. That I don't actually have to care about that. You could just say that Vecna's evil, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, because especially in the... Like, I like how they justified it with saying to Nancy, like, okay, now I've shown you why I'm doing this. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Yeah. But the cliffhanger did kind of, when it suddenly explained his whole backstory and everything, did suddenly feel like, let me do the villain monologue and explain everything now. It's
the Dr. Doofenshmirtz line of, like, I'm just going to explain to you exactly what my innator does, and then...
Yeah.
Oh no, my innator's gone. Okay. I do like that we didn't actually see them win, because I feel like they take away the threat so much in Stranger Things that then it's like, because the end of the season 1 is really good, because it's like, oh, they won, but did they? And then they did, but not really. And
yeah, like I hope the end of Stranger Things 5 kind of is nice and satisfying, but I hope that it doesn't just round everything off and go, okay, now everyone's safe now, because you've set up this massive threat. Like, I think there should still be, like, not an illusion for, like, or something to just allude to a sequel or what have you, but I think there should still be something where it's like, it's either being this massive sacrifice to be able to close the gate to the Upside Down and everything, but I think there should still be, like, a little hint of, oh, there's still, like, one gateway or something.
I can't say for certain because I haven't seen, but I reckon it will be this case of, like, Hawkins is still at risk from being invaded, but it's done for our characters, and then they'll do, like, 2-3 years time, they'll do, like, another show, and it's a new cast, or it'll be, like, an anthology thing. Like, that's too rich an IP for, like, them to not want to continue with. But they'll say it's done for our core 6 or 7 characters.
You can just see the series in about 10-20 years where they get the original cast back. They do, like, the legacy sequel where it'll be like Stranger Things 6.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, we've got the band back together.
And it's like set in 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it
sells
itself, doesn't it?
Yep.
It sells itself. Like, they wouldn't even have to try with that. Like, that's...
Like, because they'd do, like, to Britney Spears what they've done with, like, Running Up That Hill.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
You know that they could just slot that... It writes itself, doesn't it?
Waiting for it.
And you could, like, do the thing of, like, how, in response to, like, so much of, like, what the horror construction was of, like, the first few seasons, like, it was based on, like, all, like, 80s classics like The Thing and Halloween. Like, you could just, like, fully map it onto, like, old 2000s horror, like do The Ring, do, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like Scream, all that, just meld that into it. That would fit so perfectly. Like, it annoys me that I'd watch that. It really annoys me.
They have a stranglehold on, like, the audience now at this point that I don't think they genuinely had to try, which is why Stranger Things 4 I think feels more like an outlier, because 3 is really good, but, like, I was gonna watch 3. I was gonna watch 2. I was gonna watch 4, but I really liked 4.
Like, you know? Even not great Stranger Things is still good TV.
That's the same as I say with Community.
Even in its weaker moments, it's still really good television.
Yeah. I love shows that are like that, where they have clearly elevated the platform so much that, like, even when they're having an off day, it's so good. Like the episode in season 3 where Eleven's off with some random people who have numbers as well. Like, everyone's forgot about that episode now because we have so much like exposition about the Vecna and stuff. But there's a whole series that could be written about those people.
Well, that's what it was. That's what that episode was. That was them pitching and then it failed because everyone hated it.
It failed because it just cut away from the whole of the show. Yeah, that's why it
stupidest
failed,
idea they ever had.
Like, I don't know why it was like that, but
the thing is, I think if they kind of cut it up like they did with the storylines in this series. Like, it would be weird if this series they did like a solely Russia episode, for example, where it would kill the momentum of all the other ones.
Yeah.
So I think like if they split it up and spread it out a bit more, people would be a bit more like, yeah, okay, I see a bit more what they're doing with this. It doesn't derail the pacing.
I will say the Russia stuff could have been done in a single episode. Like, there isn't a lot that happens up until the finale in Russia that really justifies it being, let's cut back to see what Hopper's doing. It's just like, oh yeah, no, he's still in prison. He's broken his leg this time.
Because it seemed for a while that they were really just going to get him first try, and it wasn't going to have any kind of like difficulties to it. And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, no, everything's going bad again. That's fine.
That's good. I don't know. It feels like they sort of really tried to split them up as best they could. Like, oh yeah, Mike and Will and Eleven are all together. Oh no, 11 isn't with them now. Oh shit, what are they gonna do? And then you had to just take the adults out of the situation to make it feel new, which felt kind of, I don't know, like, it felt cheap a little bit to me a bit.
Yeah, you had to have Joyce leave before they knew anything about Vecna and stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. Like, she would be there to try and
she would be doing her stuff. Yeah.
Do you think, because they've already done the fake out death with Hopper, do you think out of the adults left, so what, Murray and Joyce, do you reckon, as Joaquin Phoenix's delivery was stuck in my head, do you think they would kill, because obviously like Murray's the obvious one to die because he's not like one of the main ones, but do you think they'd kill Joyce off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was like the crux of what Stranger Things was started on, like, oh, Winona Ryder's doing a new project. That would be such like a swan song for the show to get rid of her. Like, I'd hate to see it, but it would all fit so well.
What's, I think, really great about this final season that's going to come out is that I don't feel like anyone is safe anymore. Like, it genuinely feels like there is something at stake now, which we didn't have for a while. It's why, like, as much as I believed Steve might die, it was like, oh, yeah, but also he's like one of the biggest characters in this show. Like, it's Steve and Kate, Gaten, what's his character? Dustin. Steve and Dustin. Yeah. Those two, that's a pairing that's going to work every time you do it.
Yeah.
They weren't going to get rid of it.
That was another thing that was said on the Beyond Stranger Things show. The Duffers said that kind of happened by accident because they had all these characters off doing these other things. They're like, okay, we need Dustin to go off and do this, but he can't really do it by himself. Then we also need to do more with Steve. Yeah, we'll put them together. We'll see how it works. And obviously, it's like the best thing of the show.
Well, that's how like Stewie and Brian worked on Family Guy. Like, it's just happens sometimes where people will just write characters together and it worked. Happened with Abed and Troy. It was supposed to be Troy and Pierce, who were like the Beavis and Butthead of the group, and then it just ended up being Abed and Troy. And you're like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Why? What's wrong with Pierce?
No. He didn't show up to set. But yeah, I think it's the best accidental thing they could have done, because it just, everyone loves that dynamic. Everyone sees Steve as that dad figure now, and he tried to break out of it this season, but he's just ended up still being that. I think it's just going to be the best dynamic that they can do. If they don't do that in the final season, they're doing something wrong.
Well, I think they even commented on it on this series where Steve was like, I'm always stuck with Dustin.
Yeah.
It's like, for good reason. You will love it.
You need to be here.
You'd have died in series 1 if it wasn't for this.
Yeah. Like, I really love the moment in the finale of Stranger Things 2 where they're going to the dance and it's like he's being hyped up for like doing his hair and everything all by like Steve. Then he goes up and he asks the girl to like dance and she's just like, no, what the fuck? And then it's kind of Dustin's realization of, shit, I'm not Steve.
Yeah.
It's just like really heartbreaking because Gaten's so good. He's such a good actor.
So good. Holy shit. I love that he is getting so much notoriety in that fact. Like, he did loads of musical theatre like since now.
Hmm.
I really want to see him in like a new big role now.
Yeah, because it was him, Sadie Sink, and one of the other Stranger Things kids was. They were all on like Broadway beforehand. Because Sadie Sink was Annie, Gayton was in Les Mis. I can't remember. It might have been Finn Wolfhard, I think.
Probably
But I'm not sure which one.
I doubt it's Noah, and I don't think it's Millie Bobby Brown.
Was it Lucas?
Yeah, I don't know if Caleb's like got a theatrical background or not. I thought he finally had something to do this series. I thought he was brilliant. Like the stuff when he was fighting the blonde dude.
Yeah, it felt like he had a weird struggle because he like obviously wanted to be the popular kid, and then realized what being the popular kid was, and then ran away from it. It didn't feel like it just felt like he'd sort of led these people to this, rather than like it being much of an internal struggle for him. Like, do I want to continue being this kid or do I want to grow up? And it didn't. I think you could have done more with that. I'm kind of sad they didn't, but also I get they have so much stuff to juggle that it's kind of hard to give these characters so many arcs. It's why I think Eddie is the biggest disappointment for that fact, because it just there is an arc there that they just sort of shoehorned in at the end. It was like, okay, you could have done this because he's focused, you know.
Yeah, there was that brilliant moment where he's speaking to Steve and he's like, "Yeah, the Dustin worships you, man." Like, and yeah, in that moment, it seemed like they were going to switch, and it was going to be Steve that died.
Stranger Things is good. I could say that.
Like, it's so easy. Obviously, it's like a billion times easier to like criticize things than to actually make things. And the fact that, like, we can sit back and we can nitpick and we'll be like, it didn't really feel like Steve and Robin really like reacted to Eddie's death in the slightest. But it's like so easy to just like pick out these little things and they could have made more of this moment or that moment. But the fact that they've made these 9 episodes that are all feature films and made them to this quality in a pandemic.
Like, all we can think about is like small nitpicks that we can also go, oh, but also they have so much stuff to do still. It's still doing so much. Really, really, really good. It's like, I don't think there's much. This season's like, I think if you really like Stranger Things or like have liked Stranger Things in the past, this season's the one that's giving you that closure of like, oh, I'm so glad I put my time into this. I'm so glad that this is why I watched this show. Because that first season does that, and then it's been coasting ever since, and this is like, holy shit, this is good.
I look forward to when I watch it in 6 months' time.
You'll love it. You will love it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
I also think, the jock, the blonde one who like riles everyone up and then fights Lucas in the final episode, then also, what's her name? The first Vecna kill. Chrissy, that's it. I think those two would make a perfect live action Zelda and Link.
Chrissy, yes. I don't know the blonde dude, so I'd have to look at that. I'll have to Google that. Chrissy, I could see it, kind of.
Sure, yeah.
Blonde people, man. They're doing their bit.
Finally. Hell yeah, dude.
At last.
From one blonde pair to another blonde person. You liking the boys?
Totally. Loving it. So caught up on the Butcher Man and when he swings his mighty shield. Someone has a shield on this program, I think.
Yeah.
I don't watch
One
this one
does
either.
now. Yeah. Zach's just sitting back for this episode.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm just here for the ride.
Eventually, we'll talk about something that Zach watches.
No. This is on me. I put myself in this bed. I will lie in it. This is my own fault.
The Boys is good. I think this season has like gone by way too quickly. Like, it ends this week.
How? It feels like it's only just started.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
And it's so weird because so much happens in each episode, just story and plot wise. Like how much characters change from like the beginning to end of the episode, And then suddenly when I saw that it's like the finale next week, I thought, shit, what's the big, like, it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
there's no real. The overarching
as
thing for last
focused.
season was the Nazi, and now it's like, uh, is Homelander CEO at the end? I guess.
But then I was thinking about it, and then I think, oh, when you like do more of like the converging paths of Homelander and Soldier Boy. Every
Like,
time I hear Soldier Boy, I think it's going to break out into song.
same. Actually, same every time. I'm enjoying it. I think it's the issue is like The Boys is so concept heavy, where it's like trying to be a MAGA thing, or like, you know, trying to justify, trying to talk about a way to justify what the alt right's doing, but in to like also go, oh, we're going to attack this sort of head on, but through superheroes, and that's cool. But they're also like, I this just feels so unfocused. The only thing they've done so far is the Imagine thing, and then talk about racism a bit with
I think the A-Train stuff's really
A-Train
interesting.
stuff. But then also the end of this last episode was like, oh yeah, he's gonna live on because you have his heart now, and it's like, oh, so we're just gonna move on from the racism thing. It doesn't feel like it's impacted him, and it felt like he was doing it as a
Well, he's not really had a chance to react to it yet, to be fair.
true. But
I
don't know.
he's woken up from this like thing, and then he's just been told, "Oh, this is what's happening. You've now got this guy that you killed's heart." And
It's just, yeah, I don't know. It just saw him nodding a lot, and it's like, I don't know.
but
I
I
don't
think
think
it's
they've
also
got-
demonstrating the thing where he, like, that is just kind of it's put on these people. Oh, you have to kind of get over this, or we're just going to ditch you.
Yeah.
Which I
It's-
think is good commentary on that.
I don't know, I agree. The biggest, it's just a criticism of what I think Vought is right now, where it's like, oh, we're just gonna deal with a thing now, whereas like last season it was we have to focus on the Nazi stuff, where it felt very like, oh, let's single in on an issue, let's try and bring this out, let's talk about the plane, because that's actually a huge part. I still wish that was they head on talked about that being 9/11. Because in the comics it's supposed to be 9/11. So like if they head on went, this is what he calls 9/11, there's a whole aspect to that where they can try and go, oh, this is what these superheroes are doing, let's talk about that, and then it makes them more it makes their presence more ominous, which currently it's like, oh, he just let a load of people die. Uh-oh, he's doing that every day.
It was really this series where, like, they've kind of alluded to it in the previous ones, but it was really this series where they kind of put a big neon sign above Homelander and go, Trump.
Yeah. Very, very obviously. Like, they have a fucking Tucker Carlson show.
Yeah.
Like, it's so obvious this time. I kind of also sad what they're doing with Soldier Boy, because it doesn't feel like for what they built up Soldier Boy to be, it is so depressing that it's just, oh, he's his dad. Like, that's currently all we...
I thought that was a really interesting kind of twist where it was like he's been up and like he's been down to fight him this entire time, be like, yeah, okay, we'll knock my old crew out and then we'll get to him. And then I thought that was a really interesting thing, because it also affects Homelander quite a bit, because he's been like believing this whole time he was just like slopped out of a test tube, whereas now he's like, oh shit, no, maybe I do have more like a lineage than I thought. And so I think it'd be interesting to explore that in the final one to see where it goes, because if it's Soldier Boy and Homelander versus everyone else, holy fuck.
Yeah. I don't know, because it doesn't feel like Soldier Boy has anything that he wants to tie himself to. Like, I feel like it's gonna be he's using that to get his old crew, and then he's obviously not gonna kill him, but it's gonna be like they're gonna have this amazing exchange at some point. Maybe it's next episode, maybe it's next season, where Homelander and Soldier Boy are just shouting at each other. like
But-
trying to talk about, I want to film this fucking Aryan race of stuff, and then Soldier Boy's like, I don't give a shit. I've killed everyone I wanted to kill. Let me live my life.
But then also they've established that people, like even the soups, like in the blast radius of Soldier Boy's thing, lose their powers.
Yeah.
So do you reckon they'd have a thing where like Homelander like gets weakened because he's like flying out of the blast radius as like some PTSD thing happens? Or do you reckon they'll like have him lose his powers for a little bit and then he like injects himself with a whole load more V? Or
Do that. That's the most interesting punishment for that
Yeah.
guy. Like he just has to live as a regular human being. That's the coolest way to take that character.
It takes him
I think
down
it's
a
so
bit.
much better than like just killing him off or something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't think he could ever be killed off now. Like, this is the thing with The Boys, is I don't know how long this is going to last. Because it's from the guy who made Supernatural, and that lasted like 14 seasons too long. So
Well, yeah, but he wasn't in
Yeah.
it. He was in. He did like the first. What was it? 5.
He did the first 5, and then he was like, "This is where it should end." And then they were like, "No, it's keeping on going."
Yeah.
And he jumped ship wisely.
But it's still, this feels like this could keep going for years. Like, there's no real end in sight for... This is why, like, the fact that they're teasing killing Homelander, or the way that they're going to stop Homelander, this early on, it feels a bit like when you tell Captain Jack, I'm going to kill you.
Because I mean, like for the first few episodes of this series, you didn't see Huey too much. You didn't see Butcher too much. Homelander was the main character for the first like few episodes.
Yeah.
Because he is the most interesting character in the show. He's the most like unique to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're doing something interesting with Butcher this season that they hadn't been doing. Where it now feels like there is a... It feels like he has something personal on this now, which he sort of didn't have before, because it's his kid and he wants to not have Homelander in his life anymore. Where it was just like, I want to kill Homelander because he killed my wife.
Yeah. Also, in like the latest episode, the bit where it's kind of like going through all of his memories and like what happened with his little brother and how he sees like Huey as his little brother, and then him going through all of that again and still lying to Huey saying, "Oh, you know, it's fine, mate. Let's we have to go get some more."
Where to the point where he is going to die, like the tease that he's going to die now. But also, he said that he's filming next season already, like a couple days ago, which just took out all the suspense of like, oh, I thought he was going to die next episode.
Did you think he was gonna die?
I genuinely thought that might be what they did. It could have been really
What, killed
interesting.
Huey?
No, killed Billy.
Oh no, they I don't think they'd kill.
I think that could have been like the most interesting thing they could have done. Sort of complete his arc in a way where it's like, oh, I've never really learned from the problem that I did, and then that's on for someone else to take on. Could have been cool.
I've got a couple questions about the show. So, how's Jensen Ackles? Like, is he just doing the Dean
Really
Winchester again, or because I'm very happy he gets to play someone else. Like,
He's really, not that he was ever out of shape, but he's really buffed up for this. And at first, he wasn't in like the first few episodes a lot. Like they'd show him in like a few of his old films and TV shows and stuff. But then now that he's properly in it, it does feel like he's doing more than just being Dean Winchester.
oh, I'm glad for him. And then the other thing I wanted to ask was, I saw this on Twitter. Was there a man having sex with an octopus? Can you give me? I don't understand that. Why was he having
It's
sex?
the Deep.
Oh, because
He
he's
is
like the
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Oh,
Yeah.
So he fucked.
But
with
why is
Aquaman.
that on television?
The-
That's
You
very
mi-
scary.
You missed Herogasm, so
The Boys is a show that likes to put things on television that have never been put on television before.
yeah.
In the first episode of this series, did you hear what they did with that Ant-Man type character?
Yes, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, that was built practically. That was a practical set that they built of this massive
Oh.
penis.
God.
Amazon have too much money.
I love seeing the contrast between Series 1 and especially Series 3, because Series 1, they were like, okay, we're taking a chance on this. But now it's Amazon's literally like their biggest show. They're now like giving it all the money that it wants. So now it just looks absolutely incredible. All the effects shots are insane. It's so like just well put together.
I wonder if their budget will go down when they prioritize Lord of the Rings, because that's instantly going to overtake it.
That's going to fail, so I don't think it will.
They've already greenlit season 3.
But then a network and a channel needs more than just like one hit show, don't they?
Yeah.
True.
Because I mean, everyone's
Rings
just
could
throwing
post
everything
on
at the
for
wall at the
you.
minute and seeing what sticks. So
Yeah,
I think they'll be like, okay, we'll have Amazon on for this part of the year, then we'll have The Boys on for this part of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they have fuck off money anyway. Like,
True.
I don't
They
think
never
they need to worry too much about that.
It's whether they want to prioritize Prime Video, which currently is
Yeah.
the thing that loses the money. At some point, these streaming services will... Actually, no, they never will they? They never make money.
I mean, the channel, the CW, hasn't been profitable since, what was it, like 2006?
That's insane
they
to
just
me.
got
That's-
got bought out for nothing because they just absolved all their debt.
I can't believe that was making no money. Like, how big? Like, you remember 2014? How fucking big was The Flash? You couldn't go anywhere without someone talking about that. Like, everyone was watching that. That was
I remember
Supernatural
one
at its height. Like, fucking
Okay, Supernatural, fair enough. The
yeah.
Flash,
Like, those were the biggest
the
things
Flash,
ever.
and like that, and like Arrow and all that shit. Like, all of the people that I knew that watched it, I think there were like 3 people, and they watched it intermittently every so often.
That was like I was like, every week watching that. That was like everyone I knew was watching it. Like, it was huge. At least those first 2 seasons. Like, I can't imagine that as a thing that didn't make money. That's insane to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the issue is like the issue with the DC like whole Legends of Tomorrow Arrowverse stuff is like they never really like made it clear that that was a huge thing that they wanted to prioritize. They kept going, look at our Batman film, and then did these DC shows that felt like what Marvel were doing with like what was the
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. It felt like that, where it was like, oh yeah, so you could watch this, but also doesn't matter.
I think it was because it was just so happy accident. Like, Arrow wasn't even really a superhero TV show until they just thought, oh, we'll throw a human Barry Allen in there, and then it was so well received, and it was, God, we've got to do a Flash, and then it was, right, we're off to the races, we've done the Flash, what more can we do? Like, and then fell downhill as they tried to do it. But
I mean, I think because I used to be really, really into The Flash, and they all kind of have the same problem that I have with most American television, where it's 23 episodes a series. I just can't keep up with all that.
No, I'm glad that's dying as a model. Like,
at least when it's like
13.
half an hour though, it's easy to
There's
to
like
watch
45
through.
minutes or so.
Yeah, when it is that long, it's like fuck off. I can't do that every week. Holy fuck. You have to block out half a year to watch something. I'm not dealing with that.
So I like British television. We have absolutely no money to make it, and it's just like 6 or 8 episodes.
Yeah,
6 or 8 episodes.
Then you
It
get,
probably
like, 3
won't get
series of
greenlit.
it. Yeah.
unless if it is set in central London and you're a detective of some kind, then you
Then it
can't
gets
last
3
for more
and
than
it's
a
an
year.
hour.
Yeah, unless if you are somewhat a Line of Duty or a Silent Witness or a slightly slightly attractive looking British man solving some sort of case with some light commentary in there, then you don't exist on British TV for very long.
Well, I mean, how many times can ITV do the same drama of
How many?
a
Honestly.
detective who's
Sorry.
about to retire or they lost a child
Yeah.
in there? It's just set in different regions of the UK.
They could have stopped with Broadchurch and no one would have batted an eyelid, and yet they've done like 15 since, and you're like, none of these are even worth watching.
I can't tell you the name of a single one, and I know I've seen like 40 trailers in the last 3 years.
Yeah, because they all look the same.
Yeah. I'd love to
Every
like go
single
on
one.
love to go on productions and like play bingo, like, you were an extra policeman in this. This is the exact same briefcase or murder thing that they used in that. Like, it'd just be the most awful
That's
case
probably
of
why
deja
they
vu.
keep. That's probably why they keep doing it, because it's probably just like, oh, we'll just reuse this prop. keep the budget down.
I mean, for those kinds of shows, you literally just need to put the main characters in suits, and then you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Easy. I'm
Not
sure
to
they're all happy
not
to
to
do it.
belittle all the like craftsmanship
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes into it.
Nah,
I'm sure-
they don't work hard. They don't work hard.
I'm sure there is one that is really good, but like the issue is that in the middle of 15 of them that are the exact same looking show, that no one even picks that out and goes, oh yeah, that one's the good one.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's watching ITV drama like consistently.
Although Zach, I have a meaning to ask you for a while. What have you thought about the recent series of Silent Witness?
Oh, it was. They were very experimental with that. They tried doing like 6 parts. So that was actual. Like they tried something new in 20 years. It was like, and it slightly failed, slightly didn't. I was very happy they tried it. It very much needs to end next series. I
thought this was the final one, wasn't it?
There's one more apparently,
Oh,
and they're doing a new thing where it's introduce a third character and then kill them off or get them to leave every series, and I can't have that for the 6th person now. So it was great and it was bad at the same time. But that's Silent Witness every single series, so nothing new there.
because it's like Silent Witness is like my aunt and uncle's show is like their
Yeah.
thing, and they said that like the new series they just couldn't gel with at all.
I mean, I get it. Like they were throwing a lot at people to try and like this is the BBC audience who can like remember the details of one case because then they get to watch the next episode the next night. But this was 6 weeks of trying to remember why someone did a specific terror act that was in linking with like. So I kind of get it, but it just proved that BBC you can try things like this, but maybe not with ones like this. I'm sorry. Nah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
BBC just so the issue is like I don't think anyone's really making incredible drama on terrestrial TV at the moment. We have like
Yeah.
Line of Duty, which is like good, but like the last thing I think that I paid attention to was Killing Eve.
Yeah,
And even
Killing
then that
Eve when
dropped off.
first- yeah, that really dropped off. There's The Bodyguard, like that wasn't for me, but that did a lot for people.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big
Yeah,
one
that-
in places.
I mean, what's the other one that the people behind Line of Duty did? Was it Vigil? The one set on
Oh,
like the
yeah.
submarine.
oh yeah, that was very
everyone
big.
was talking
Yeah,
about how
was
good
huge.
that was.
Mm.
That was like the BBC's biggest show in years.
Yeah, I had a lot of people tuning into that.
There is something special about terrestrial TV where it's like instead of it just being like chucked out on a streaming service where like everyone kind of starts it around the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you know everyone's watching it at the same time, even though you're just like in your house, it still kind of has like you can text
Yeah.
people about it because you know they'll be watching it. and-
I'm a big proponent for terrestrial TV. I've always
Yeah.
have been. I still watch terrestrial TV like
Yeah.
consistently. I have it on right now behind me.
I mean, like, I love it in regards to how it's like, my brain is like so developed in like the way of like streaming. Like I'll wait so ravenously for like the next season of like whatever something will be. Whereas with terrestrial TV, it's just like, oh, that's back for this year. Completely forgot about that. Guess I'll watch that now. Whereas like Netflix, like, it's like, oh Christ, it's finally here after 3 years of it being gone. Like it's finally back. Everything's dropped. Like,
I love it. Honestly, it's just like it's the rhythm of it where like I can just watch it and 15 minutes later I can go for a piss and there are adverts on. I don't have to think about it. There are adverts that I don't
Well-
have to watch because I can walk away.
we'll get those in Netflix soon enough.
True.
They'll turn up.
Why
soon
do you
enough.
want adverts?
I don't want adverts. Just it's going to happen. We just have to accept it's coming.
Now
Like,
TV already has them, so
yeah.
It's like I've been abusing the recording things on TiVo. Like I just go on TCM movies and then just record pretty much everything that they have on. Like, 'cause there are some really good films that still get put on like Film 4 and all like the channels and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I sound like 50 years old
the
right now.
channels.
But
One of the 5.
one of the 5 on the Great British Isle.
It's like I can still on a Sunday night like switch on ITV4 and find that Brendan Fraser's The Mummy is on, and that'll just make my day and think, yes, this
Don't
is still
wanna-
worthwhile in some way.
Do you not want to go to ITV2 where they have Skyfall on for the 700th time?
Yeah, very
Maybe a
true.
Hot Fuzz.
Maybe.
Or, at 10 p.m. every night they have Love Island playing.
Every night.
Every night. It's not 10 p.m., it's 9. Yeah, 9 o'clock
I
every
was about to
night.
say, yeah. Isn't
Apart
it?
from
Fine.
Saturdays. because Saturday is for the night out.
I like how they
Yeah.
schedule
They
that into
know-
they schedule that into their
demographics
programming.
so well that it's like, oh yeah, Saturday. No, they're gonna be busy. They're not gonna watch it anyway. It's the best way to do it because it's how fucking I'm a Celeb works, where like it's
Yeah.
also on when the football's on, so the Wednesdays are just blocked out.
Yeah.
They just know. They know the audience that they have.
Yeah. Just. Oh.
I'm enjoying Love Island this season. I know none of you two watch it, but I'm
very
loving
happy
it.
you're enjoying it. I
Yeah.
can't think of a worse thing to support in my mind, personally.
What is the appeal of like Love Island? Like, why do you watch it? Why do you enjoy it?
Well, it's not that like it's not that like it's an appeal. It's just the fact that I think reality TV in general is just intriguing. I don't think reality TV should be like belittled as much as it is, because I think it's obviously popcorn TV. You just stick it on and but it's a conversation that everyone can join in on. Like, did you watch Big Brother last night? Yeah. I fucking hate I don't know.
Yeah,
Billy, he's a piece
I did
of
a lot
shit.
of that with Married at
You know?
First Sight. Like, that was a
Yeah.
lot of chat there, just because
It's
there was
just-
nothing else to talk about. Like,
People will just, it's really nice to just have this conversation and be like, yeah, they're not good for each other. Yeah, fuck Davide, he's a piece of shit. I hate Ekinsu. Like, it's just nice because I can then go on Twitter, see the memes that are posted, talk to my friends. We can have a discussion about how we think there are these people that just like are clearly here for the money. There are people here who are just here to, get a social media following. It's so good for that. But I will say the issue is everyone's always going to play a game. Love Island is the one that least feels like a game because people are genuinely there to just be a personality. So like the game isn't like fall in love with someone. It's just have fun in this villa for a bit, maybe get a following and become famous. That's how it works.
Do you
With,
remember
like-
the game? Sorry,
So-
continue.
That was just mean. But like, I think the best thing that's happened to reality TV in the past several years is The Circle, because The Circle went, oh yeah, no, this is a game, so let's make it a game, because everyone had to play their character and had to build up this thing. They never see each other, but they can play the person they want to play, and maybe that wins.
Wasn't Richard Madeley in the second series of The Circle?
Yeah, for like
Was
2
he?
episodes.
Yeah.
Jesus,
He
that's
he played a young girl called Judy. Get it, Richard and Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The public voted on that.
Christ.
Because I watched The Circle in my first year of uni with all my flat. Like, that was the thing that we all sat down and watched. And that's like another thing of like nostalgia, because at the time I hated the television show, whereas now I'm like nostalgic for it because like I miss like everyone
That
sitting down and watching it and it
conversation,
being
yeah.
that communal thing. But like I hate any drama in my own life, so I don't know like why I'd want to sit down and watch
Because it's
people
guilt-
beefing.
It's guilt-free. You're not involved. You just get to
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like,
You just
True.
get to talk with other people about it. It's if you can talk about it there, you're not gonna look for it in your own life,
yeah.
right? I never really watched Love Island prior to this season because I just didn't care enough, and I was watching other things. But this season, I was like, oh yeah, go on, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And it took a bit of adjusting because I am slowly coming down from my 80-year-old pedestal that I set at 16, and now I'm trying to be like a normal human being. And so, like, I'm slowly adjusting to the way that these people talk and how the youth is, and things like that.
The
They're
youth.
all the fact they're all our age is just insane to me.
It's
Like,
disgusting.
they're
They're
23.
not.
And
No.
how the fuck am I
No, they're
like
not.
this? Yeah,
No,
some
that's
of them are.
wrong.
Davide
They're- yeah,
is
but-
27, but
Yeah, but you forget they're like a different breed of human being. Like, they're not real.
well, they are. They're just
No,
from
they're not.
Essex
They're
or
like they're
whatever
built
the
somewhere.
fuck.
Like they're built in a lab. Like, I don't believe that the boys like actually make superheroes, but I do believe that that company builds people like that. They're not real. Not real human
Okay,
beings.
I will agree. I don't think Ekinsu is real. The fact that she just came in, tried to get with 4 gym guys, and now is getting with another one. It's like you've
Didn't
just
she-
come in to
didn't she,
stir
like-
shit up.
Didn't she hide on a balcony or something?
Yeah, well, she went.
That's all
She
I
wanted
heard.
to. She came in. She tried to get with.
I don't know. I just heard there was something about a balcony.
She came in. She tried to get with like the hot Italian dude. Fair enough. Go ahead. You're both awful people, so I'm happy for you to both get together and just exist.
Why
And
do you
then
hate Italians, Michelle?
I hate him because he's a fucking sexist.
To be fair, that is
That's
a
the
reason. To hate
reason.
someone.
But then she's just like, yeah, do you know what? He's a bit hot. That's fine. And then another gym guy comes in, goes, I'm going to snake whoever the fuck I want. I don't care. Stakes Davide, gets with her. She just is okay with that. And then she gets mad at Davide for being mad at her. And acts like she did nothing wrong. And then tried to snake this other guy, Jay, to get with another guy. And it's...
You see, I can't jive with Love Island because there just aren't any stakes to it. You know no one's going to die, so what's the point?
That's true. Do you know what? Fair enough. Well, they could, you know.
Imagine
Actually,
if,
a lot
like,
of
it
people
just-
Was
have
that a
died
threat,
from Love
Michelle?
Island.
Was that a threat?
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, three have died from Love Island, let's be real.
Yeah, it
shit.
is. Yeah, that's why I don't support Love Island. That's why I'm like, this shouldn't be on television. I think after that first one, it should have been like,
Well,
maybe we
the-
take a long, hard look at what we're making here. Like,
yeah, no, it's fair enough. But I also think the way that's how that has now impacted the way reality TV has to be made
yeah,
shows that there were problems before, and hopefully there aren't them now. There are literal episodes where people just aren't in them, and I'm just guessing it's because they're in therapy. That's it, that episode. Because they are
That's horrible.
they're contractually obligated to take moments out to talk to someone because they
that's
have
good.
to.
That's good.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just think, like, in terms of what the industry and culture and everything's learnt from it, I just wish that out of all the British reality shows, they kind of learn a bit more from Bake Off, where everyone can kind of be a bit lovely to each other and it can kind of be a bit more
Yeah.
of like a warm hug of a show.
I mean, like, it's just different flavors of the same thing, though, isn't it? Like, there is still drama in Bake Off. Remember when someone stole her custard?
I think the world should reflect the world of like Dragon's Den in regards to if you're a good, hardworking person, you're going to do well. But if you're just a little know-it-all who's trying to sell a towel that can turn into a beach bag that is already being sold, then you are correctly destroyed by the 7-foot monster that is Peter Jones. Like,
Every reality TV show should be trying to part Deborah Meaden from her money.
yeah,
I don't know why Deborah Meaden in particular, but
'cause she's the best dragon.
like-
She's the best
You
dragon.
You just like putting women down, don't you, Jake? That's what
Yeah,
it is.
you hate women.
the same way you hate Italians. We're in this together.
It's really nice being the only member of the podcast that is like PC and like actually not going to get cancelled. Like never said anything that is like remotely
like-
dangerous.
Do like a How I Met Your Mother wipe back to the flashback of how like everything Zach has ever said.
Yeah. Let's just go back to the Predator
Yeah.
situation, shall we?
That never happened. Can't be proven. Can't be proven. Didn't exist. Doesn't exist online at all.
No.
But who is your favourite dragon from Dragon's Den?
Oh, this because if we're talking historically, like I'm a big fan of Tage. I like Tuca. Jenny
I really
Campbell
like
was
Philip
alright.
Fetus. Yeah.
Philip Fetus, you could beat me to it. But I always love Deborah because she always controls the narrative. No one does anything. Like everyone waits to see what Deborah's assessment is, and Deborah usually always wins. There's a rare occasion where she doesn't.
Because I remember one episode where someone was trying to pitch this attachment that you can put on a tap. So like it would go in the hot and cold one, and then it then come out the middle. And then Deborah just kind of like shut it down instantly and was like, in Britain we just kind of, we have the two, you know, the right mix for you on like having
Yeah.
a second under hot, going to cold. Doing it. I was like, Deborah, I respect you a lot for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Save it.
Put Deborah in the Love Island villa. That's what I
Yes.
say.
Dragon's Den Love Island edition. That'd be brilliant. I'd sign up for that.
I'd have to bleach my eyes, I think.
I would sign up for that. That'd be perfect. Like that's me trying to like court one of them.
How many people go into the Love Island villa?
That's a question. Currently, there are 12 boys and 12 girls because there are 2 different villas at the moment.
Okay,
But-
that's too much to think of. I was going to say, like, if it was, like, 5, then you could be like, what 5, like, middle-aged celebrities would you like? Deborah Meaden, I think Jeremy Clarkson. I don't
Yeah.
like him, but I think he'd be funny in there.
You could just talk about the
Who
farm
else?
all day. Like,
Yeah. Who else, like, what other, like, middle-aged TV
What's the guy who
personalities.
does? What's the guy who does First Dates? The Gino? No, Fred.
Fred, yeah.
Fred. Him. I'd have. He's lovely. I'd have him in
The
there.
one that looks like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, him. He's a
Yeah,
lovely
yeah.
bloke. I'd have him in there. List of concern.
I don't think you know what Love Island is. 5 people and you currently name 2 men. Like it's
Yeah, I'm
supposed to be
changing
even-
it. I'm
Yeah,
taking
but
over.
like
Like
there's gonna be
ITV.
there's just gonna be
I'm
one
taking over.
person. There is one person that's just gonna be alone. Like that's
Tell-
how.
Like, if you tell me that after I've put all the dragons and, like, a few Channel 4 hosts and me and Jake in a villa, tell me there's going to be, like, a single death, tell me there's going to be a single, like, outcry from the public of negativity, everyone will love this programme.
Yeah, I think
It'll save ITV. They'll never have to make another crime drama again.
I think Jeremy Clarkson would probably knock you out. So
That's worth it for the views. It's worth it. And if
the
he's
content.
if he's knocked me out, I'm probably asking for it. Like, knowing me.
That's not a healthy outlook to have.
I don't know. If I was in that villa, if I was in that villa and the dragons are there, there's no doubt I'm going to be causing chaos because I'm just going to be trying to like usurp and get all their interest. No, it's not a good combination, but it'll
Because
be alright for TV.
I'd also stir the pot. I'd be like, Deborah, you never guess what Jeremy said about you. And then you go like, oh, Jeremy, you never guess what Gordon Ramsay said about you.
I'm gonna try. And
This
get
is a world where ITV do have infinite money. I don't know how they have £250,000 to give out every fucking week.
Oh, they have $2,000 to give away every day on This Morning.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm gonna try and get this back on track now. I'm gonna try and return us to some form of normality.
Yeah, okay.
I watched The Umbrella Academy, and that's a good show. I'm gonna try and talk now. That's a good show. Watch that, everyone. That's fun.
So that's the end of the urgent rewrite for this week.
Bastard.
No.
Nah.
Are you enjoying the new series?
It was great. I highly encourage everyone watch it. It's really, really good. And
'Cause I'm desperate to get into it. I've just not had time yet.
It's specifically great because of how well they do the Elliot Page stuff. And I think that's really, really worthwhile. Like, everyone should be... It was awful that like it got sort of released between the mix of like either end of Stranger Things because no one got a real chance to talk about it. Like, they do it so nicely. They commit the time to it.
What do they do with it narratively?
It's not even like a huge part of it. It's just the decision they come to in the narrative, like in the story. It's just like, yes, this is who I am now. Has anyone got a problem with it? And they're all like, no, we're really happy for you.
I did watch that scene, and I have to say they did him dirty with that fucking wig. Like,
that's his hair.
No, before.
Oh yeah. When he's
They did him
they
dirty
did him very
before that.
dirty there. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it looked
it's-
so bad.
But
It
like,
looked awful.
but like they go on and they do like a very I won't spoil it, but they do like a very nice character gesture. It was just like, yes, that's absolutely lovely. Like,
Oh, nice.
and I think it's very lovely in like regards to they're doing a superhero show that does a storyline like that, because certain people who watch these kind of stories will never ever touch anything like that. Like, my dad would never go looking for a story like that, but now he's been forced to see it because he watches that show. And I think no other show will do a big superhero battle, and instead of that they just do a dance off set to Footloose. Like, no
I've
other
seen
show will do that.
scene.
This is Legion
It's
Erasure.
beautiful. No, it's just added honestly 10 years to my life. Just right, we're gonna throw down this is our Civil War moment. And then just start dancing to Footloose. It's beautiful.
I have to say, having seen that scene, because it's parodied everywhere on TikTok, I'm just worried that the show is going to become Riverdale.
You'd think, but no. Like, there's a if it could have gone to Riverdale, it would have done so already. There's a talking monkey. It could have done that already, but it hasn't. It's somehow managed to toe the line. And it leaves it in a massively interesting place for the next series.
I've heard that this series has made like a lot bigger budget than the previous ones.
Huge budget for this series. Like, one of the main characters is just a floating cube, and the CG for him is brilliant.
I've heard there are some dodgy bits, but
Well, it's of everything,
okay.
but for the most part, it's a hell of a step up. And I just thought, with all the bad TV that we've endured, we get that.
because I love series 1 and 2. I just need to get on to series 3 now. I think Elliot Page is too powerful, and I love that. Elliot Page, he's just too cool.
Yeah. No, they give him like just the best stuff to do in this series, and he gives the second best performance of the series, so it's perfect. No. I just think like that, and Miss Marvel trying to show off some cool stuff about Islam. Like that's
I'm enjoying Miss Marvel as well.
Yeah,
I'm
actually.
really
Like-
enjoying Miss Marvel.
it's trying to get the good stories down people's throats, and they need to swallow it. And I'm
I-
very happy.
I will. My main criticism with Miss Marvel, because I can't contribute to the Umbrella Academy stuff.
Yeah, that means
Main problem with Miss Marvel is like I think it's sort of just lost its stylization.
yeah. It was very much in the first episode, and then it sort of didn't carry through.
Because it was so
Oh, is it?
cool at the
Oh.
start, and then it just sort
Yeah.
of is not there anymore. It just feels like Marvel show again.
Yeah, I was like, if this first episode is every episode, then this is the best thing they've ever made. But
Yeah.
it wasn't.
But
Hmm.
otherwise,
Which is
I
a
actually
shame.
fucking love the show. Everything else, I just actually think is just
Yeah.
a good fucking comic book show. I think we haven't. I think Hawkeye did it the same way, where it feels like it feels like Marvel, but it just feels like just I can stick this on and enjoy my life for a bit.
Yeah.
I like that. And
like,
now
it
they're doing
forget-
something about the
yeah.
partition, which like is something I've just literally never learned about. I can't wait to learn about that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating period of history that like I never knew existed.
Yeah.
Like that's brilliant to understand. And it's lovely where it forgets it's a superhero show as well, and it is just like a family drama of I don't want to deal with my uncool parents not letting me be cool, and that's just fun that gets to be like a thing in
I
this universe.
fell in love with her dad when he came in dressed as the
Yes, his
Hulk. Like,
beautiful
justice
dad.
for that man. When she was like, "Oh no, it's so embarrassing," it's like, "No, he's so precious." She is brilliant at the heart of it as well. Like,
Yeah, really.
what
like
an
that.
incredible actress.
Yeah, and I love how she's been telling off people on Twitter as well. Like, no, screw you. I know better than you. It's like, yes, you do. Please tell
Hell
them
yeah,
off.
dude.
Thank you.
Did you see she was on like a red carpet event and she was like, you know how in Doctor Strange they say that the MCU is like Marvel 616, like Universe 616
Yeah.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I disagree with you, Kevin. I don't think it is, and it like here's why I think it's like this, that, and the
Beautiful.
other. And I was
It's
like,
made my day.
I love you.
She had to. She had to do that. 100% she had to do that because it just established the reason why she's there. Like, she is that Marvel fan who got to be
Yeah.
Marvel. Like, that's just nice. It showed that there is a pipeline to this. Like,
Yeah.
everyone enjoys this stuff for a big reason. And
And
Like,
she's-
I
I'm-
love that people can be inspired by that stuff. It's how things like Umbrella Academy exist. Because, like,
Yeah, exactly.
you get people just loving these sort of comics and stuff. You get Gerard Way, who's just bored of fucking singing, making a comic book show,
Yeah.
and then we get this fucking marvel of a thing where we
Yeah.
have Elliot Page coming out in it.
Exactly. Like Gerard Way read an X-Men comic and then thought, yeah, I'm gonna do that myself, and it's even better. Like,
Yeah.
And it's lovely as well that like those characters that, like a trans character, a Muslim woman, like they get to be like the crux of what these next big franchises are gonna sit on top of, like characters that fans will hate, like
Yeah.
but actually
gotta exist
deserve
with
their
it.
spot, deserve their like time in the sun. I think that's fantastic that like we're entering that little next period of culture, as it were, on television, which is really nice.
Mm.
When it can seem so bland and grey and like every ITV crime drama ever.
It's like the new Thor's out this week.
Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, it's out in
No?
2 days.
No,
It's
it's
out on
not.
the 7th.
Yeah, it is.
No, that
I've
can't be
seen
right.
more. I've seen more adverts for Doctor Strange 2 being on Disney Plus now than I have, and I like work in the cinema.
No, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I know it's a job, but I don't believe you. I don't believe that's coming out in 2 days. No.
They've just done like zero press for it at all because they just go, it's Thor, it's Hemsworth, it'll sell.
People are gonna watch it. Everyone's Taika Waititi sells it like himself. Like, it's pretty easy.
I mean, he's
Nah.
already said that Thor's arse isn't going to be pixelated in the film itself, so that'll sell enough tickets.
My
Yeah, very
favourite thing
excited.
was the you know, it's like the flirting versus harassment thing where it's like him just saying, if you don't watch this film, you hate independent cinema. I thought, oh, Taika, it's a shame how you've ended up. It's a real shame.
I'm excited to see it. The issue is like Marvel is oversaturated as fuck, so I have to prioritize Miss Marvel in my head right now, and then I've forgotten that fucking Thor is coming out, which is the biggest thing.
Mm.
But like, I'm so happy that like they are telling these stories now. Like we're getting them, and I can't wait for them to actually become something, because we currently don't have that yet. Like, I'm glad that WandaVision became something, but like that's all we've really had payoff wise, apart from maybe Loki and Doctor Strange as well, because the multiverse stuff. But then not really.
It's like Taika's already advertising Thor as it. Don't worry, it doesn't take place in the multiverse. It's like the multiverse is such an interesting
Concept.
idea.
I wanna watch that.
Like
we saturated it in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Like that's insane to me that like we've made half the planet bored of that, and Marvel's done that, and that's just
Well, like the issue is I'm not bored of it. I'm just bored of the way that Marvel are exploring it, because they're doing it they're so scared to explore it.
Yeah. Or at least explore it interestingly, like when we've seen the god tier version of what it can be with everything everywhere all at once, and then
just do it. Just literally explore it. Don't just sit back and go, oh, maybe this is gonna be really interesting. We were just waiting for Secret Wars to happen. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I can't wait to see, like what you were saying, Zach, with like more of the people who are just currently on like I can't wait for Miss Marvel to then be in like the actual film and stuff, and like, actually be up there on the big screen and be celebrated on the like exact same level. And also with that one being directed by Nia DaCosta, like
it's lovely. Yeah,
fucking brilliant.
It's gonna be great.
I mean, we all looked at like 2018, like there had been ones before, but like so many people, like when they saw Black Panther, they got to say like, right, well, that's someone who looks like me as a superhero, and I'm really happy that we're gonna get so many more interpretations of that, like across so many more different products. Like
we're gonna
people
see
of different races and different sexualities and genders. Like that's gonna be really lovely to be able to see.
We're gonna see that so much more now as well.
Yeah.
I'm actually, for once, happy that Disney is doing something, because they just every time they did like, oh, there's a kiss in the end of Star Wars, like a gay kiss. No, it isn't. It's in the background. It's not a gay kiss. It's just someone kissing in the background. That's nothing to celebrate. You just did that so you could cut it out in China. That's it.
Yeah.
This is now like, oh, well, we can't actually ignore this whole part of what is happening in Doctor Strange, because she's wearing a pride badge at every scene she's in. Like, you can't ignore that. There is a whole thing. They have 2 mums. That's it. America Chavez has 2 mums.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Baymax show, where it's like the thing that all the angry, horrible people have gotten upset about, like in the middle of like just Baymax being shown, oh, try this, or like this is the product I use, and just like wearing a trans shirt, like that's just like that's baked in. You can't
just
remove
giving
that.
a pad. It's like, well, and I saw fucking Jordan Peterson getting really pissed off at that. It's like,
oh, it's made my week. Just how
have you seen how pissed off he is that he got suspended on Twitter?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
He got so angry. It's so funny. Just like, it's the most Redditor comeback he's ever done. Just watching that entire video of him going, why? What rules have I broken by saying that pride isn't something to celebrate? It's like, you're just being shitty for no reason. You could have said that any other day and no one would have cared.
Like, on Umbrella Academy, Elliot Page plays the most powerful superhero there, but in reality it is the most powerful superhero of all, because they destroyed Jordan Peterson without even having to try.
Without even thinking.
Yeah.
Not
didn't even
saying anything.
Yeah, just didn't even...
Just existing.
Yeah, just being themselves, and that's all we needed.
Oh.
I think we can leave it on just hooray for Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Hooray for Elliot Page.
What a wonderful man.
Yeah.